We will be right back.
I thought in the last 15 seconds, I owe it to myself to do the picture I really believe in. So I said to him, Mr. President, will you show me the love?
Most people with one-word names are rock stars. Bono, Madonna, Cher. My next guest has a one-word name, Paton. He's not a rock star in the traditional sense, but he is a star photographer. And his specialty is capturing the essence of world leaders in a single frame. Welcome.
It's good to be here, Fareed.
You'd worked before with a lot of celebrities, George Clooney, Al Pacino, Yoko Ono. So who are more difficult to deal with, mega stars or world leaders?
There's actually no formula with people. And the moment you start to fake it and apply a formula, it's Endsville. Every person is totally different, and you have to go in a very humble, raw, open state of mind. I mean, what I do is maybe 3% photography, the rest is complete psychology and people skills.
So tell me about a few of these. There's this great shot of Putin. A difficult man to photograph, only in the sense he's rarely agrees to be photographed.
Yeah, to my knowledge, it's the only formal portrait he's ever done outside the Kremlin. I was flown to Moscow, I photographed him in his private Dacia, and I was led into this room where they essentially dissolved the Soviet Union, so it was very historic. And I said to him, I'm a massive Beatles fan, are you? And the first thing he did was he took off his translating earpiece, ushered all his advisors out of the room, and it was me, him, and perhaps 15 security guards, so it was very, very cozy. And he said, let's talk. So he spoke perfect English, and I said, well, I want to know if you like the Beatles. So he said, I do like the Beatles. So I said, well, what's your favourite Beatles song? He said, Yesterday. So I said, I can't believe I'm talking to you about the Beatles. Now, the interesting thing is that connection allowed me then to get close, and he allowed me in. And I think probably when I took the picture, I was about 1.5 inches away from his nose.
Probably the most famous shot of yours, I have to say, is probably the Bill Clinton shot, which is during the Lewinsky scandal. It is called the crotch shot.
Yes,
right?
Yes, it was.
Did you think when you did it, you know what, this is going to come out with a rather emphasized crotch?
I no idea. It was my first presidential portrait, and it should probably have been my last. The magazine actually said to me, whatever you do, don't use that lens. You've got 8 minutes with him. So I spent 7.5 minutes doing a very sort of elegant headshot of Clinton. And I thought in the last 15 seconds, I owe it to myself to do the picture I really believe in. So I said to him, Mr. President, will you show me the love? And at that point, I think some of his advisors winced. But he knew what I wanted. He said, I know what he means. And he put his hands on his knees and he gave me that Clinton charisma.
You have two photographs of one of Obama, one of Bush, and they couldn't be more different. And in a way, at least they conform to the conventional view of Obama as cold, as cerebral, very elegant, Bush as warm, folksy. Is that how they came across to you?
No, actually. And it's very interesting because in this project, Obama was photographed on the rise to power. It was during his presidential election campaign. And Bush was photographed after he left office. So Bush was rather, had a reflective view on the whole sitting. Obama is obviously very charismatic, as we know, as a speaker. I remember saying to him, though, as I was taking the picture, that my mum really hopes you make it to the White House. And he leaned forward and he said, tell your mama I said hi. So it was, there are moments of this wonderful natural people skills that just overflow with Obama. With Bush, it was quite a challenging shoot, one of the hardest I've ever had. He walked in the room and I remember he said to me, you better be photographing a guy who's happy and not some kind of snarler.
Bibi Netanyahu, how did he strike you?
Netanyahu has a very powerful confidence. he came over to me and he put his hand on one shoulder, on my shoulder, and he shook my hand with the other hand very firmly. He looked into my eyes and he said, "Paton, make me look good."
Perhaps your most famous shot is the Gaddafi. I don't know if it's the most famous, it's the most grand.
Gaddafi chose arguably the worst moment to sit for me. Again, at the General Assembly in New York. I was just a few feet away from the podium where Obama was actually speaking. And it's a very confined space. And at the end of the corridor, I saw this giant crowd swell of about 200 people coming towards us. In the middle of the crowd swell was Gaddafi. And he was marching in slow motion with this defiant spirit. He was surrounded by female bodyguards dressed head to foot in green military clothing. I mean, it was a scene from a James Bond movie.
It's the Amazonian Guard.
Yeah. So he walked right up to me and sat for me as if saying, "I will sit for a portrait on American soil right under the nose of the American administration while Obama is actually making a speech." And that's when we did it.
These wild clothes, where he has the
the
brooch
regalia
of Africa, the robes.
He wore this sort of pork pie hat that tamed his wild hair. He had these incredible chocolate robes. I mean, people say to me, is he crazy? Is he mad? He may well be those things, but he also may well be the smartest person in the room, and I don't think he's to be underestimated.
What makes a photograph great? I mean, people sometimes wonder, they look at photographs, they think, well, you know, I could take photographs. Is it the moment? Is it the lighting? Is it, you say it's a lot of psychology?
I think it's all the things working together. Sometimes the stars are aligned to create a happening. You may laugh at my foolish optimism, but I do passionately believe in the human condition, and I believe in the dignity of the individual. And in many ways, this is perhaps a feeble attempt to appeal to this international power community to come together to solve the world's problems.
Paton, pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And we will be back.